I need everybody to get up here. How many of you have been here before? Oh, good. I'm glad. We almost lost it, you know.
Yeah.
This is the Bullington Center. That brick building houses the offices of the Henderson County Educational Foundation. Bob Bullington was the owner of this property. He's not from Henderson County. He moved here. I think he retired here, actually. I'm not really sure. He might have worked at GE or somewhere. I'm not up on all that. I did a story on it, but I can't remember. And he had this land, and he loved horticulture, and he had a lot of rare and unusual plants and trees. Lots and lots of rare and unusual plants and trees, some from foreign countries. He had 12 acres of land here, and in his will, he left his 12 acres of land and his home to the students of Henderson County, the Henderson County Public Schools. Today, the home contains the offices of the Henderson County Educational Foundation, but the land and gardens are maintained and used by the Henderson County Public Schools and the North Carolina Cooperative Extension Service. They have a full-time director here, John Murphy. They put a strong emphasis on the youth. They bring the students here to learn all kinds of things, even plant math. They've got all kinds of workshops and programs where they bring the young students here. And I particularly like the Boost program for special needs high school students who actually come here and learn to work in landscaping and things by working on the grounds. 4-Hers, down at the very end, that lower parking lot to the right in the field in front of the house is where the 4-Hers grow their pumpkins every year. And every year they have pumpkin sales here. So if any of you are looking for pumpkins, then you can help support our 4-Hers. There's a nature trail, an amphitheater, the therapy garden right here for blind people, perennial borders, native woodland garden, a shade garden, and an herb garden, along with greenhouses and rooms for workshops and an educational building. The adult horticultural workshops are also held here. If you just keep a lookout in the paper, or there's pamphlets on that little board as you walk back to your cars. It's open to the public from 8:30 to 4:30 Monday through Friday. And there's always someone here during those times. But I also want to point out to you that across that drive over there, this was a black community at one time, and a black family lived over there, and the elderly lady previous to World War II, her name was Bessie King. And they had a family cemetery over there, an old black cemetery. And the local Corn white family that lived across the street, this is the story they told me, was the two guys came back from World War II and were sitting on their front porch and looked over there, and the property had been sold. Bessie had died, and the family had sold the property during World War II while they were away. And they were sitting over there looking across, and they didn't see the cemetery and couldn't find the cemetery. And they came over here and asked the new owners, well, where are those graves of Bessie King and her family and these old black graves? Well, they had used them to line their well. So we know there's a cemetery over there. We also know that all the field stones and stones were used to line these people's well, that they knew folks that came in during World War II and built a new house over here. So this is what we call one of our destroyed cemeteries, and we call it the Bessie King Cemetery, but it is destroyed. There are people buried over there. They just moved the stones. It's kind of chilly, but if you come back sometime, Monday through Friday, you can walk these trails. The young people have programs down in the amphitheater down there, and there's a nice long, and you see all kinds of rare plants, and they have little signs where they've labeled the trees and the plants and everything.
It's really nice, like early April.
Early April is fantastic.
Really nice, yeah.
Absolutely beautiful. As we leave, you got the directions, we're gonna turn right out of here. And as you drive at 0.6 mile, you're gonna see an old cemetery in the yard of a home. That's the Love Family Cemetery. They moved in here in the early 1800s, and there's 3 Confederate veterans buried in that little cemetery in that front yard. Last I heard, the Love family still owned that property, and that is an old home of one of the descendants, but that was in 2004, and I'm not gonna swear that they still live there. But whomever owns it does maintain it. And then from here, we're going to go up to the Huckleberry Mountain Workshop Camp and Artist Colony, and Valerie's going to be expecting us. I'm going to call her as we pull out. We're going to have to park and walk up to her. She's got a very small little house. Everybody cannot get into her house. So we're going to have to kind of rotate in and out, using the bathroom, one tiny little bathroom. I mean, she lives in one of these old cabins that they built. And it's interesting, just even walking into her little cabin is a treat. But we can't park there. We're going to have to park in a older, bigger house. Now, when I get out the driveway where we're parking, you're going to see this nice, beautiful house. It is a very old house. It was built in the mid-1800s. It has been remodeled. You can see the two stone chimneys on either side. These are some early settlers. I haven't traced the deeds, so I'm not sure who originally built it. They've remodeled it so much that it's not historically accurate anymore, so you're not going to be able to look at it and see how old it really is till you happen to look at those stone chimneys and stuff. But in the back of that house is one of the oldest remaining structures in Henderson County. It's an old log shed. And it's very old. We don't have it dated yet. Last people I know that lived there that were local was a Jackson family, but I'm not really sure who built that shed. But you will note that as you walk up toward Valerie's house. It's not a long walk, it's just up through the yard there. Okay?
Okay.
And I will let Valerie take over when we get there.
Carla?
No.
Okay. You go ahead. You can keep it up.
Yeah. Plan a trip back sometime.
Pay for several years and